Hello everyone, and welcome to the Family Advocates 30th Anniversary Gala, Reach for the Stars. Tonight you're going to hear stories from youth, from foster parents, from volunteers that are affiliated with our organization, who are really the lifeblood of what we do at Family Advocates. We believe that every child and teenager in LaPorte County matters. And we believe that it's our job to advocate and to intervene on their behalf when they are in crisis. I encourage you to learn more about our organization by going to lpfamilyadvocates.com. You can go there and learn about our programs, but you can also go there and vote or donate for tonight's event. See, we're glad you're with us tonight. We're glad you're learning about our organization. We're glad we're laughing together. God knows we all need a little bit of laughter in our life right now. But I hope you don't miss the moment right now that tonight we celebrate 30 years of advocacy and intervention work on behalf of children, youth, and families in LaPorte County. And we thank you for being here tonight. We thank our supporters for helping empower this work. And we thank the comedians tonight. Without further ado, I want to introduce our MC for tonight, my friend and yours, Rick Federici.
Hi, it is Rick Federici. We're reaching for the stars tonight with the 30th anniversary gala for Family Advocates right here in LaPorte County. It is such an honor to be here with you. I have a website I want you to remember throughout the evening, lpfamilyadvocates.com. Check out that website. We've got some great information for you. And for the next hour or so, you're going to hear stories, we're going to have some really good fun, we're going to hear some comedy, and we're going to talk to the one and only Alan Ruck. But before we get to that part of the evening, let's jump over to our CEO, celebrating 30 years with the one and only Karen Bernanke. Hi, Karen.
Hey, Rick. So nice to be here. I mean, I'm guessing because we can't be live, at least we have the opportunity to be in everyone's living room this evening. So I hope everyone has a glass of wine or a 6-pack of beer, a soda pop, and their pizza from Albano's and can enjoy this evening. We are honored to be celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and so much has happened over those 30 years. And you will have the opportunity to hear from people who have used our services, our volunteers, and other people about the work that we do and how we can change the lives of children and families.
Let's talk to our Deputy Director, Maggie Fritz. And Maggie, of course, does a wonderful job. Keep us acclimated with things that are going on. Remember the website, lpfamilyadvocates.com, not only this evening, but as we roll through the year together. Maggie, it's so great to see you. Let's chat a little bit about your position and some of the very important things about, LP Family Advocates and some of the other things going on this evening.
Well, Rick, I'm so excited to have you here and to have everyone from their living rooms here with us tonight. And we have such an amazing event coming up. We have 6 very talented comedians from all over the nation that are going to be making us laugh. We also have silent auction items that we would love for you to vote on. They've been donated from many people in the community. And we have wonderful testimonials from our amazing volunteers, parents, people who have actually been in our programs. So we have really fantastic things for you to offer tonight.
So while we're sitting back relaxing, Maggie, Karen, I know that folks could vote, and it's X amount for a vote, and all proceeds are helping out make a difference. lpfamilyadvocates.com. We've got some VIP packages. We want you guys to jump aboard, of course, items that Maggie was discussing a moment ago. Maggie, can you kind of elaborate on the VIP packages for our audience tonight, you guys? Let's do this together, all right, Maggie?
I hope you got your tickets already. I hope that you've been able to get your pizza from Albano's, and you get your bottle of wine or a 6-pack of beer from the bottle shop, and you're all set to watch our very funny comedians and our interview with Alan Ruck and our testimonials.
Absolutely great. I'd like to thank also Tim Frankie and his crew at Doolin Media for allowing us to be here to showcase some of the neat things going on in and around our area. Thanks again to all the wonderful sponsors. So many of you have stepped it up again this year. Even though we're all here virtually, we need us to stay together to make a real big difference in the lives of our youth and our families in the area. So won't you please go to lpfamilyadvocates.com right now, make a difference, do some voting, have some fun, enjoy the comedy, sit back and relax and enjoy it with lpfamilyadvocates.com.
My name's Natalie, and I'm a volunteer with the LaPorte County Family Advocates KAYA program. When I got done with school, I was looking for volunteer opportunities within my community. I really wanted to make just the community a better place. And that's where my interest was. And so I asked around, and a few friends suggested LaPorte County Family Advocates and the Kaya program. And I just thought, wow, what a great program. And working with youth in our area would be a great opportunity to give back.
My name's Alicia. I'm from LaPorte County. I came to the Kaya program because at the age of 17, I got into a little trouble, got myself put on probation. The Kaya program was probably one of the best opportunities for me at that time. Initially, when I first started, I didn't even want to really deal with Natalie. Initially, I did not. I was like, this is not for me. Just let me get through my probation, I don't need this. But then I came to realize I kind of do need her, because I was in a situation like, I'm calling Natalie. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm going to call Natalie right now. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay.
When I initially started, I knew that, I want to give back to my community. I remember being a teenager myself, and I came from a very different background from Alicia, and it was still a very hard time for me. And so if I can just be that person that helps, a teenager get through that phase of their life and move into adulthood, that would be just really gratifying to me, to be able to be that person for somebody.
She was there for me every step of the way, whether it was something I did wrong while on probation or whatever. She always was there to help me out with whatever decision it was, whatever. I have changed drastically. Emotionally, physically, everything about it. I am not the same Alicia as I was before I started Kaya.
And our first comedian this evening is 17-year-old Sam Rossi from Melrose, Mass. That's Massachusetts, right? Coming up right here with lpfamilyadvocates.com. Go to that website right now. Take it away.
Hello, my name is Sam Rossi. Thank you very much for choosing me as a competitor for this stand-up comedy competition.
Do you guys want to hear a Christmas joke? Yeah. Cool. I like Christmas. I feel like I would like it a lot more if I was a Christmas tree salesman. It feels like this time of year, Christmas tree sales skyrocket. If you're a Christmas tree salesman and it's not December, your life is horrible. Have you ever tried selling a Christmas tree in January? What some Christmas tree salesmen end up doing is they end up shipping Christmas trees to the small European country of Luxembourg, which is the only country in the world that celebrates Christmas on May 5th. But the majority of Christmas tree salesmen choose not to do this. And I know some of you are thinking right now, well, of course not. Luxembourg's right along the Ardennes Forest. I mean, that's like trying to sell snow at the North Pole. That's it. But that's actually not the reason. So if you just listen, then I'll explain it. The reason is because in 1934, the U.S. and Luxembourg got in a small trade dispute, and long story short, it's illegal for the U.S. to trade natural resources with Luxembourg. So if you sold a Christmas tree to Luxembourg, that's treason. Oh my God. All right. That was a massive success. I'm 16, so I'm in school right now. I used to like school, but that got a little useless, Like math right now. Math isn't a very helpful subject. I had one math problem the other day that's like, what's -3 minus 4? And I'm like, how does that help you ever? Well, I don't have 3 apples. I don't give 4 to Susan. How many apples do I not have? And look, if you work with negative numbers, it's probably because you're in debt. But if you're in debt, it's already been established, you're not very good with numbers. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Oh my God, I had one teacher the other day try to teach us how to use a map. What? She was giving us map homework and stuff. I'm like, no, I gotta get to sundial class. Map. Here's the crazy thing. The crazy thing was the reasoning behind it. Because she was like, well, what if one day, you're lost and you don't have your phone then? What if I don't have my phone? I'm a 16-year-old kid. In this day and age, in this country, in this society, and you're asking me, what if I don't have my phone? But you assume I have my map with me? All right, my name's Sam Rossi. Thank you very much.
This is the end of a Horizon Bank commercial. Why show the end of our commercial at the beginning of our commercial? We think you'll find Horizon does a lot of things differently than other banks. For instance, what you have to say is more important than what we have to say. After all, where a conversation leads has a lot to do with how it starts. Horizon Bank. Get a conversation started.
I'm talking stronger living, I'm talking stronger soul. We taking our position and never letting go.
Hi, we're Kevin and Sarah Gould. We are foster parents and we've been fostering now for almost 2 years. Family Advocates has been great for us for a couple different reasons. Obviously with CASA, they're a voice for our foster children in court. We've had several court experiences and they've been absolutely fantastic. Looking at it as a foster parent, there's a huge need for people volunteering for both CASA and other roles in family advocates. There are so many kids out there that are in foster care. They really need a voice and they need to know that there is somebody there for them in the courtroom role. Please, if you're not able to volunteer for family advocates, please try to make a donation of some kind. This is the annual fundraiser for family advocates, and during the pandemic, we're not able to do it the way that we normally do through a dinner and through auction items. So we implore you to please volunteer, enjoy the show. Please vote on the comedians. You can go to lpfamilyadvocates.com to cast your vote. But please keep these foster children in mind when you write that check out.
There's a lot of kids and they need our help.
I'm Susan Aaron, and I really don't have a long history with family advocates. Honestly, I'm a donor. What I have is a niece who is 4th generation of 5 generations of family that live here in LaPorte, and she was a CASA when she was in her late 20s. I so admired what she did because, frankly, I don't know how they do it. But as much as anything, it's families. It's not just, an abusive situation. It's people just trying to cope. This evening is a very, very exciting evening. We know that you would much rather be here in person, as we would all be in our attire and having a wonderful time enjoying the comedian, enjoying our fellow friends and our community members that we enjoy being with. But tonight can make a difference. It can make a huge difference in the serving that Family Advocates does for the community. So please take out that checkbook, get out that credit card, and join me and join the rest of us in making a great future for Family Advocates. Every vote is going to make a big, big difference for Family Advocates and the fundraising that they're trying to accomplish. They've worked really hard to put this production together so that we could all enjoy each other virtually, but more importantly, we can support their cause.
Next up, we're in our wonderful round of comedians tonight here with LPFamilyAdvocates.com. Don't forget you're voting for your favorite comedian, John Cessna from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Welcome aboard.
Hey everybody, this is John Cessna coming to you from my basement here in Michigan. I'm down here because my wife and I got a puppy and he has claimed the rest of the house. So he's the alpha and I sit in the basement now. I would just want to thank everybody for watching, supporting LaPorte Family Advocates, and I hope you enjoy this clip of my stand-up from a few years ago when I headlined the Drop Comedy Club in South Bend. We sold out the whole weekend, had a ton of fun, and I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I had being there. Thanks.
I was working at a comedy club doing 2 shows, and a girl saw my early show and heard me profess my love for crazy girls, and she wanted to talk to me after the show, but she was nervous. So she decided the best course of action was to go to the bar and drink by herself for 3.5 hours. Which is already kind of a Wherefore Art Thou Juliet situation for me, I'm not gonna lie. So I finish the late show, I get off stage, and I hear from the far end of the bar, "Hey! I need you to know one thing. I was just out trying to get my medicine, and I allegedly wrapped my car around a pole, and I was committed. You were really funny, can I buy you a drink?" And I was like, I have the weirdest boner right now. I don't even... So the night keeps building, night keeps going on. She finally says, "Hey, listen, I've got some pot out in the car. If you go out there, I'll smoke you out, I'll get you high." I said, "Thank you," I'm flattered. I don't smoke pot, I don't get high. I'm a drinker. I'm a drunk. I think someday there'll be a civil war between our 2 great nations. And I've already picked my side. She digs her nails into my inner thigh, gets an inch away from my face and says, "I love civil wars." So we're planning a summer wedding. Our colors are royal blue and crushed up Vicodin white. And we are registered at Macy's, Nordstrom's, and a truck stop that sells samurai swords. Give with the heart. I told that story on stage in Kentucky, and a guy runs up to me after the show and he goes, "Man, I love swords!" Solid opener, we could be friends. He goes, "Wouldn't it be cool, wouldn't it be weird if we lived like back in medieval times, like the Dark Ages?" And I go, "Yeah, man. Like a small group of people controlling all the wealth and power of the entire country and using religious zealotry to justify a war in the desert? Weird, right?" And he goes, "Nah, I just want to ride a horse to work." And Scully follows me on Twitter now. Crazy girls and young girls. Not like creepy young. Nobody texts Chris Hansen. Like, it's not a thing. Like, girls born in the 90s. That's my thing. It's great, you guys. They've never heard 90s songs. I can just quote 90s love ballads to them, and they've never heard it. They just think I'm being romantic off the cuff. Take a girl, I'll be like, "Listen, babe, I would stay awake just to see you dreaming. And when we're together, I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing." It does not work when you're breaking up with them, I understand. And my advice, if you're breaking up with them and they figure it out, just lean into it full force. Take her out and be like, "Listen, babe, if I were to stay, I'd just be in the way. But I'm thinking of you every step of the way." Is that a Whitney Houston song? Are you breaking up with me to a Whitney Houston song? And I will always... She gets up, runs out. I force some tears. The hostess comes back. It's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I just told her I loved her." And that is how you become a 30-year-old at a sorority formal. Politely declining a keg stand because you're worried about your heartburn the next day. Fetch. Heard that. I'm not ready to grow up. I'm not ready to date. I'm especially not ready to have kids. I'm from the area. It's nice to come home and see a whole bunch of people that I know and I'm friends with. And they've all started popping out babies. And I'll tell you guys, I have a rule. I don't learn my friends' kids' names until those kids start walking. Because that is when my friends start yelling at them. Like for the first few months, it's like, look at the baby. Have you seen the baby? Would you want to hold the baby? Oh my God, isn't this the cutest baby? Let's put the baby on Instagram. Which filter should we use? Ooh, Hefe looks good. He looks tan. Hashtag tan baby. But as soon as the baby starts walking, they're like, Atticus! Atticus, get away from the plugs! Atticus, Jerry, the plugs! The plugs, Jerry! Atticus! And I'm in the corner like, Atticus. That was that kid something. Real truth. By the second or third kid, I never learned those kids' names because I don't see those friends anymore.
Doing as much as you can, as quickly as you can, is important to me. Life is short, and the earlier we get started helping our community, the better off our community will be.
Hi, I'm Wendy Steele.
I'm Kurt Steele.
We are from LaPorte County, Indiana. We started fostering about 12 years ago with the intention of adoption. Foster care is not an adoption agency, and they will tell you that they are not an adoption agency, but we were hoping that eventually that we would end up being able to adopt. We were blessed to adopt 4 children back in 2008, and we thought we were done. We had already had 2 children at the time that were teenagers, biological children, and we got a phone call from DCS asking us if we would foster 2 children. The youngest was just out of the hospital. He was born at 2 pounds, just a micro preemie. And the other one was a little girl, and she was 2 years old. It was a 2.5-year journey where we were fostering those 2, and we fell in love with them very quick. Beautiful kids. We were blessed to have a casa. A lot of kids don't go in to foster care. A lot of kids, there's just so many cases, and there are so many social workers, and they're amazing people, but they're not dealing with just one family or 2 families. They're dealing with multiple children, multiple families. And a CASA worker comes in, and they might only be dealing with 1 or 2 families of children, which is amazing. So they called us to take the 2 youngest children, and we, again, said no. Our oldest daughter was actually a big convincing person in that. She was 16, and she said, Mom, I know you're scared, and I know that it might be hard, and you might love these kids, and you might have to give them back. And that's okay, because maybe it's not about us. Maybe it's about them. And that was huge. I called back and said, I know I just said no, but we are going to go ahead and take these 2 kids. So about a month after Ivy and Malachi came to us, we got a phone call from a CASA worker, Lorraine. She was such a blessing in our life. She still is a blessing in our life. She came in, and she was just very helpful. She would come and visit the kids every Saturday. She read stories to them. She would help me entertain, actually, the other children while we had physical therapy for our daughter with cerebral palsy. She went above and beyond as a CASA worker, and it was pretty amazing. And she was just there for us.
Hi, my name's Lorraine Ty, and I'm a CASA worker here in LaPorte, Indiana. I'm a teacher by trait also, and I was really frustrated because I know that there's a lot of needs that my students have in the classroom, and when they walked out my door, there was nothing I could do about it. And then all of a sudden, this magical CASA program popped up into my life, and I realized that I could only probably help one student at a time or one family at a time, but it gave me a chance to go beyond the classroom and to go into the community to help people. I get to walk in, and my job is simply to know the children. And that's one thing about being a CASA, that every other therapist in the world and stuff like that has power to work with the kids, but the kids know that I'm not there because I'm paid. I'm there because I choose to be. And that's an entirely different scenario for those children. They take one look at that and they're like, wow, you actually care enough to come and play with me, and you come and you take me out for a walk, and you take me to the store, and you actually care about me. So how do you get to be a CASA? Because I know now that your interest is piqued and you're thinking, wow, I know somebody, or I might have a couple minutes to spend doing something like that. Well, there is that ability. You can contact our local agency, and it's in the phone book, it's on the computer. All you've got to do is look up CASA. And even if, like I said, even if you're not sure, call, because they'll talk you through. They'll let you know the expectations. There's classes that they put together to help you understand what you need to do, and you're never on your own. As a CASA, you always have people helping you out. And so you don't have to fear that you don't know the court system. You don't have to fear that you're not sure how to engage the children or anything like that. They will help you with all of that. That's secondary. You just being willing to open up your heart and to take those children in, that's what we need as a CASA, because that's what's a winner. So maybe you've got somebody in your family that you're thinking of right now. Hey, just put that bug in their ear, or call and give us their name, because we would even go ahead and contact them and see if it was a possibility, because it's the greatest gift ever. The one thing I've said, I'm not a lawyer, but I do have a voice, and my voice can be a voice for children, even without having a legal degree behind me. And that's something that I think is really powerful. So if you have it in your heart, and right now you're kind of thinking, maybe this is interesting, please contact the CASA organization, because they will, like I said, they'll help you out, and they'll sit and talk with you as long as you need. So please contact them.
Next up, a great comedian with some local ties, little Sarah Allen, of course, you're from the LaPorte area. We love you, but you've gone to the sunny West Coast, and we're loving you for that. Nick Hoff, of course, here with LP Family Advocates.
Hello, LaPorte, Indiana. My name is Nick Hoff, and I want to thank you for having me be part of this night and this awesome cause. For my portion, I want to share with you the last joke I ever told on stage, and this was back in March in Salt Lake City, right before the wheels fell off of this whole year. And the only information you guys need to know is there was a lady in the front row who had been yelling at me all night about her 2 kids. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy this and have a fantastic evening.
It feels like the country is falling apart. You get on social media or watch the news, everybody's yelling at each other. But it's weird because I travel to like 30, 35 states a year. I meet people from all different walks of life. We are more alike than we are different. I'll tell you that much right now. Okay? Most of us are somewhere in the middle on most things. But then you got crazy people on the far ends of every single debate. Like, take a huge issue in this country. Take gun control. It's a huge issue. And there aren't 2 sides. There are 3. You got most of us in the middle. And then you've got wingnuts on the far ends. You got most of us in the middle where we're like, you know what, for the most part, guns are just fine, but yeah, we should probably have a few restrictions, right? Like if a guy runs into a gun store mad and he's like, I need a gun right now! Like, hurry, she's getting away! Maybe we count backwards from 10 with that guy. And then you got crazy people on each side. You got the crazy people way on the left that are like, that's it! Can't have guns anymore! We're back to make America safe. for peace is to go take guns away from people who have guns. Let me know if that's a peaceful process. Let me know when you're wrangling the AK out of Jessup's fingers and he's going quietly. But then you've got the crazy people way on the other side that are like, everybody needs a gun. Everybody needs a gun. You go to kindergarten, Timmy, don't forget your handgun. And these are the crazy people that think we need those power weapons to defend ourselves against the government. That's cute. If we ever have to fight the United States government, they are going to beat the hell out of us. And they won't even need weapons to do it. They'll just turn off our Wi-Fi. We'll all be outside like, what the? All right, take me then. I don't want to live if I can't play Farmville on the toilet. But I do agree that the government's got too big for their britches and they don't have our best interest at heart. So we do need some level of protection against them. So here's what I recommend. We the people of the United States of America, as a group, to protect ourselves against the government, we get one nuke that's just ours. The military can have the rest, but we get one shiny warhead. And we just get to plant it underneath Congress and just hire some gal that has like 2 kids. Finger hovering right over the button 24/7. We live stream her face and we play it during their congressional meetings. Right when they're getting ready to vote, and she's just staring them down. You better do what we want you to. But you can't just trust this lady, right? Like, she might go rogue, so you gotta have a guy behind her with like a rocket launcher pointed at her. Yeah, checks and balances, that's how it's and it will just be a long line of gradually de-escalating weapons like that. Like you got rocket launcher guy behind her, behind rocket launcher guy, you got bazooka guy, and it just keeps going down like shotgun guy, handgun guy, nail gun guy, cock gun guy. You keeps going down like knife guy, shake guy, blow dart guy. All the way down until eventually it's like noogie guy, wacky guy, swirly guy, right? Indian burn guy, bark cupping guy. All the way down. So just eventually at the end of the line is just my dad standing there. Not mad, but I'm disappointed.
Sting like a bee. King Kong got nothing on me. When your legs against the wall, better fight back. Yeah, we ready to brawl, we wanna fight back. You gotta dig in the sun, yeah, fight back.
It is Rick Federicki, owner and general manager of WIMS Girard Media and WHFB as well. Happy 30th anniversary to the team and family at Family Advocates. Chime in tonight, won't you? Help us out. lpfamilyadvocates.com. Thanks to all the great teamwork and happy anniversary.
Well, hello, I'm Serena. I originally went to the foster system at around, officially for the second round, I went when I was 17. I ended up being separated from my mother, and I still had rights and visitation with my brother, so I would be driven up from Lake Station all the way up here to LaPorte, and we would just hang out, and that was our routine for quite a few months. I want to say about five months. This all started when me and my brother were taken from my parents. We were given to my grandparents, and for the longest time, the only one I actually had was my brother. That's the only company I had. We were sheltered, we were kept in, we weren't allowed to go to activities, we were hidden away to keep us away from my mother. And they weren't ready for teenagers. They weren't going to do it. So they admitted me to a hospital, And they brushed their hands of me for 2 years while I waited in the system. And then apparently my brother started acting out at my grandparents' house, so they threw him in there with me. He was 8. He was 8 when they threw him in there. 8 years old. He was in there for a year. I was in there for 2 years, and he was in there for a year. And he had been sexually abused and emotionally abused and mentally abused. And they actually are not supposed to put siblings in the same facility, but since we couldn't be separated, they had to put us in the same facility. They would actually let us have visitation in the facility with each other. And he started calling me mom. So I was there for 2 years, and little 8-year-old Clutch was there for a whole entire year without any home because we weren't wanted. Right off the bat, Karen was right there, and she has been there for me through every little detail. Like, while you guys have, she was the one that would transport me places. She has taken me out shopping. She has taken me to get food. She has taken me everywhere. Like, I depended on her a lot when I was younger. And if I didn't have you guys, if I didn't have Harmony House, I probably would not be as close to my brother as I actually am. If anything had gone differently, I don't think I would be the person who I am right now. I genuinely don't, with the influences I had in my life through you guys and through the very few foster homes that were actually good and decent to me. They shaped my life drastically. Actually, Kevin and Ellen Jones, I don't actually know if you guys remembered them, but they fostered me when I was 17, and I actually still keep in contact with them. I live about 20 minutes away from them. And I advise anyone who is thinking of doing this, of thinking of helping, because kids like us really need help. We really need the advocates. We need the support. We need to know that somebody is there when everybody else doesn't want you anymore. So if you're ever interested, just go to their site, check it out, and help a kid or a couple, 3 or 4, any of them, all of them that you can, because we need it.
And next up, Big Jake Hovis from Denver, Colorado. Take it away, Big Jake.
Hey, thanks for letting me be a part of the 30th anniversary gala here at Family Advocates. Such a great cause. I'm real excited to be a part of it. I know my doggies, they're also excited to be a part of it. They're brother and sister. This is Calvin, that's Tulip. And we love to be a part of this great cause and funny night. So I hope you enjoy and laugh at this set that I recorded in downtown Denver at Comedy Works. It was a super fun night, and hopefully you enjoy it as well.
Yeah, all right. So I'm 6'8", and well over 100 pounds. Sometimes when you're real tall, people will give you strange compliments. Like, some guy called me a tall drink of water. What does that mean? I mean, I am 70% water. Another guy, I think I know what he meant. What he meant was, I wish I was tall like you. What he said was, I want your body. Or sometimes people just say the 2 words. They'll just say, you're tall. Who's that for? I know I'm tall. You now know that I'm tall. Am I supposed to say obvious things about you? You're wearing khakis. You're pregnant. No? You can learn a lot from pregnant ladies. For example, I learned how to pose for pictures. I am married. Thank you. I ended up marrying the second person I ever dated, which means my shirt size has more X's than I do. But my wife, she loves big bodies of water, lakes. She likes lakes.
She's always wanting us to go swimming outside. But I tell her, like, the amount of sunscreen that I need, it gets expensive. It is a surface area issue. This guy knows what I'm talking about. We apply it with a roller. I went to KFC recently. I bought 2 meals, one for me, one for my wife. They gave me 1 spork. I guess according to KFC, it's much more likely that I would eat 2 meals than that I would have 1 wife. I didn't realize one of the 11 herbs and spices was judgment. I do love KFC though, because they have my favorite measurement for food, buckets. Now, I'm not saying my wife and I disagree all the time, but we definitely don't see eye to eye. We see more like eye to like bottom crease of man boob, right in that area. For example, my wife thinks I take too long in the shower. But I keep telling her, it is a surface area issue. This guy knows what I'm talking about. I mean, I really should take a bath. It'd be a lot faster if I took a bath. Because I'm the kind of guy that can draw a bath in like 40 seconds. It's like dropping a watermelon into a bowl of cereal. Apparently I breathe too loud. I found this out when my wife started to shake me. She thought I was both asleep and snoring. I was laying there watching Shark Tank. So I'm a high school teacher? Thank you. All right, great response. Changing the next generation, but whatever. The other day on my way to school, I killed a bunny. The one day I walk. It's ridiculous. Like, I got a little tired, so I take a rest, I break a bench, kill a bunny, ruin my pants. And it really shook me up, you know? Because I administer the ACT. So the only thing that I'm used to killing are dreams. All right, thanks guys, I'm Jake.
Friedman & Associates has been providing legal services for nearly 35 years with an emphasis on employment law. If you or someone you know has been fired without just cause, or if you've been subjected to discrimination, give us a call. We also provide help with criminal cases, expungements, driving privileges, and immigration law. And if it's not an area we practice in, we'll refer you to someone who can help. Friedman & Associates, standing up for you.
With the current situation with our pandemic going on right now, we know so many different events have been canceled. This, of course, we're doing virtually. We need your help to make these programs work for our families, for our children. Let's talk to Karen a little bit about how you can make a difference and how we can all work together to keep these great programs going. Karen?
Thanks, Rick. Because the reality is that, you know, as kids were staying home and maybe staying home in the future, there is no way for us to know how safe they are in that home. While we were all shut down during the pandemic in the spring, we had the number of cases for abuse and neglect rise. And those cases were only found because police officers went to the home and found that these kids were unsafe. So we need more volunteers, we need more staff. And you can help us by either being a volunteer, maybe you know someone who is a volunteer, or you can donate to Family Advocates and help us to get more volunteers and to supervise and support the volunteers that are doing such great work with our kids.
All the way from Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen, here to help you, lpfamilyethics.com. Check out that website. Vote, vote, vote away. Only $10 a vote. Chip Jones from Washington, D.C., take it away.
Doing as much as you can, as quickly as you can, is important to me. Life is short, and the earlier we get started helping our community, the better off our community will be.
Next up, from New York, we've got Michael Harrison, who's going to make you laugh. Let's give him a big warm lpfamilyadvocates.com welcome. Help make a difference tonight and enjoy.
Hey, Indiana! Welcome. My name is Michael Harrison, and I have been asked to introduce myself. I've never done this before. So, I can humbly tell you about my incredible talent or my gorgeous eyelashes, but instead, I'm going to ask my neighbor what he thinks of me. Hey, Rob, what do you think of me?
Yeah, he's cool.
And there you have it. Amazing testimonial from a guy who knows me firsthand. So please, enjoy this clip from my half-hour comedy special that aired all across North America, and give a warm welcome to Michael Harrison. Yeah!
Sweet. Yeah, let's do this. So happy to be here. I love the library. Oh, I love the library. I do, library lovers here. I love it. Right? Because everything's free. Right? Free movies, free music, free books. It's like Disneyland for cheap people. I love it. And some people take it for granted. Like I was at the library a few weeks ago, and over the intercom, this girl goes, "The internet's now down for 20 minutes. And some girl at the computer goes, "Jesus, what next?" It's like, what next? Ever thought about waiting? Right? There's books and magazines. It's like the ultimate waiting room. But she couldn't. She got up and she started railing the librarian, and this is what I heard her say. She's like, "You know what? We pay taxes. It's your job to maintain this." And I was thinking, if you depend on the library for your email, you probably don't pay taxes. Safe bet. Well, the library I go to actually lets me take out 50 items, too. 50 items, that's awesome. You know what I could do with 50 items? I could start my own library. And I abuse it, too. I've actually taken out 43 items before. 43, there's no way I'm going through 43 items in 3 weeks. I'm just holding on to shit so other people can't get it at this point. I think as a joke, I should take out 50 books on hoarding. Once did that bit out west, and it was great, because right after the show, this woman walked up to me, and she's like, "Hey, did you know in Newfoundland they let you take out unlimited items?" I was like, "Holy crap, that's awesome, really? You mean I could walk in a Newfoundland library and be like, 'It's all mine, you could go home early, all right?'" See you in 3 weeks, unless I renew the library. Awesome. I do comedy all over the country, in bars mostly, which is funny because I'm not a big drinker. Anymore. I only drink on special occasions, like if I run out of weed. Yeah. The odd time I do drink, though, I'm bad at it. I'm such a lightweight. Like, I've seen guys spend like $80 at a bar and still drive home, right? I'll spend $20, I'll walk into 3 trees, you know? And my friends love bragging about how much they could drink. They're always telling me, "Man, the other night at the bar, I had 12 beers, 4 shots of Jaeger, and a 5th of vodka." I think it's more noteworthy on how much I saved, right? I come back at them all confident, like, "Yeah, well, I had 4 beers, 1 shot of Jaeger, and I could still afford bail." And one thing I'm really addicted to is caffeine. Oh, I'm a caffeine junkie. It's so bad, I've upgraded to Starbucks, and my drink costs $5.03, and I do it every day. Every day. It's such an underrated addiction, right? You always hear cigarette smokers complaining, "Oh, I spend $10 a pack." Screw you. I wish I smoked cigarettes. Right? Because at least cigarette smokers share. Can't walk into a coffee shop jonesing like, buddy, I'm really strapped this month. Can I bum a sip? And you know how I got my addiction? It's because I worked at a coffee shop for 4 years. That's how I got addicted. That doesn't happen anywhere else. It's not ever quit an office job and can't stop stapling. And the coffee shop I go to has a tip jar. A tip jar at a coffee shop? I'm not tipping you unless you serve alcohol or work at a restaurant, all right? And I mean, sometimes I do tip because I get a really enthusiastic server who just keeps talking. I'm like, oh, well, here's some change. Shut up. But I always feel really bad about it. I really do. Like one time I remember I left the Starbucks after I gave him all my change, and this homeless guy approached me. He's like, hey, bro, do you have any change? I was like, oh, shit, dude. I just gave it to someone with a job. Awkward. I did love working at the coffee shop. It's funny when you work customer service, because you develop repetitive lines that you always say. Like at the coffee shop, I used to always say, have a good one, after everything. You know, someone would walk in, I'd be like, here's your drink, have a good one. Here's your change, have a good one. One time this girl walked in and she asked for the washroom key. Yeah, she did not have a good one after I said that. I did have good folks. They didn't tell me much about sex growing up, which was weird because when I was young, I had imagination. I remember when I was 7 years old, my cousin was pregnant. I didn't know how babies are created. Almost my mom told me there was a kid inside her stomach. It scared the hell out of me because I thought she was eating children. Yeah, by 7 months, she was huge. It's like, get this woman a pizza. I could be next. Come on. Coming over to visit, I'm trying to get my little sister to look tastier than me. That's not normal. Standing there like, Kyla, put chocolate syrup all over yourself. She'll be here soon, all right?
Coming up in a matter of moments, the votes will be in. We're going to find out who the real winners are. Whether it's your favorite comedian, did you put in for some of those cool silent auction items? You're going to be notified on your phone. And don't forget, just a few more minutes left to get those votes in. So do it right now. Please support. Go to lpfamilyadvocates.com. Help make a difference tonight. We thank all of our great sponsors, and of course, Tim Frankie and the crew at Doolin Media and their team for all that they have done. I'm Rick Federighi. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your evening, and don't you go away, because still a lot more fun right around the corner.
Alan, as General Chair for Family Advocates 30th Anniversary Gala, I want to thank you for agreeing to be our special guest and for showing the support you have for the important work of this program as we continue providing services for kids and their families. I also want to thank our good mutual friend Tara Alonzo with helping arrange your appearance with us. Now, before I turn you over to our MC, Rick Federighi, as a huge fan of Ferris Bueller's Day Off and your incredible performance in that film, I've got just a few questions for you.
Okay.
As we all know, number one, you were supposed to be playing a high school senior in that movie, yet you were 6 years older than Matthew Broderick. I understand you and he had grown close to it while doing Biloxi Blues on Broadway. I'm wondering, how did the two of you convince the producers that you could look the part of a high school kid when you were quite a bit older?
I actually didn't have to convince any producers. I had to convince the casting directors. The thing was, I always looked much younger than I was, you know, and finally I'm starting to look my age. So it was mostly a matter of convincing the casting directors to see me. And my agent at the time said, look, he plays opposite Matthew every night on stage, and they're supposed to be 18, 19-year-old kids. So why don't you just see him? And they saw me, and they actually, at the time, I didn't tell them how old I actually was.
Okay.
You know, they thought I was about 25. In fact, I was 28, getting ready to turn 29. Yeah. And I'd actually met John Hughes some years before at an audition in Chicago. I knew him a little bit. And Matthew and I were already friends from doing the play together. So it was just... I had angels walking all around me on that day, you know.
Clearly. Now, my second question for you, hockey fans realize you were wearing a Detroit Red Wings jersey in the movie, even though you're in the middle of Chicago Blackhawks country. Now, tell us, what's the story behind that?
Okay, it was never mentioned in the film, but this is actually a little piece of John's life. He sort of projected some of his life onto Cameron. John had spent part of his youth in Detroit. And so he came up with the idea that Cameron had this horrible relationship with his father, but he actually had a really good relationship with his granddad, who lived in Detroit. And the old man used to take him to Red Wings games and bought him that jersey. And his father, you know, if you look at the rest of Cameron's clothes, they're pretty square.
Right.
You know, I mean, chinos and penny loafers. But since the grandfather gave him the jersey, he was allowed to wear that to school.
Okay, so that answers that then. That's been a mystery for years. Well, I want to thank you, though, for agreeing to be our special guest and for your very special support of Family Advocates of LaPorte County. It means a great deal to us. We are delighted to have you here. And with that, I'm going to turn you over to Rick Federici, our MC.
All right.
All right.
Nice talking with you. Okay.
Nice talking with you, too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'm in this tux, dude. It's like, come on.
Oh, you look great. I've
Great,
got such a
dude.
No, I've got crummy background. Maybe I can get a better background. Hang on with me. Are we still filming? This is okay. It's so amusing.
So many great things, of course, here with LP Family Advocates. Rick Federici, it's just an honor, whether it's Young Guns 2, whether it's Twister, whether it's Speed, whether it's Spin City. Alan Ruck is with us tonight, virtually, of course. Alan, I want to welcome you, of course, here with all of us. You were supposed to be right here at Pacific in beautiful downtown LaPorte. Talk to me. I'm so honored to have this moment with you. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to meet you. Nice to talk with you. Yes, our friend Tara Alonso asked me if I'd be interested in doing this, and I said sure. And that was pre-COVID. It was she bounced this off me. I don't know how many months ago, but you know, before quarantine. And so here we are doing it this way, and I'm just happy it worked out.
So obviously in life, you've got 4 children. I want to ask you about this whole COVID thing, because right now you're out of your studio and you've got the little ones at home. Are they doing school at home? And how does that affect all that's going on with you?
Well, my wife is a Virgo, and she's very organized. And she's a little tired of it. She's a little tired of the whole routine, but she's very good about keeping the kids on track. I have grown children, you know. My eldest, Emma, is a nurse. She's 32, and my son Sam is going after his master's degree in English. But the little ones, Vesper is 10 and Larkin is 6. Vesper is pretty well self-motivated, but Larkin is 6, and we keep having to turn him back toward the screen to stay in it. You know, I'm sure everybody is going through this exact same thing with their kids. It's hard on the kids, and I mean, hopefully it won't last too much longer, but they miss their friends, and I think there's great value to all the kids being in a classroom together as opposed to this isolated learning. You know, things could be worse.
I agree. Positive attitude. So let's take you back to your youth. So you obviously with your mom and dad, and you're a young kid. Were you that kid? Because my mom would say I made up for all 6 of her kids. I was the rebel. Was that you? I'm curious.
I wasn't really a rebel. I was more of a screw up, I think. No, my dad was pretty firm. He wasn't mean, but he was pretty firm, and I couldn't get away with too much. I saved all that up for when I went away to college, and then I made up for lost time.
I'm with you.
But it was just my sister and me. There's 7 kids in your family?
6. There were 6. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. A little crazy. You know, I'm just like, thank God. And then the funny thing is my mom will say to all of us, there's a Ricky in every one of my brothers and sisters' family, which is okay because I'm all about it. It's a nice compliment. It keeps us all going. So let's talk about college. U of I, Bachelor of what? Fine art. Were you fine arts on that one?
Yeah, BFA. Yeah.
Is that something that you wanted to do since you were young? Kind of, is that what your study was as a young kid?
Well, my older sister had been in plays. She was 4 years ahead of me in school, and I watched her do plays, and just somehow I put that in my hip pocket, and I thought that I could do that. And then I had no other trump cards. You know, I was not a great student. I was not an athlete. I was not one of the cool kids. And then I found out I could do this stuff, and then I just never let go of it, because then I finally had an identity. And it got me through high school, and then it gave me a focus in college, something to pursue. And it's, knock on wood, it's really worked out. I've been very, very fortunate.
Yeah, I'm so liking that. So you've done obviously so many great films. You've been on TV for so many great years. Spin City, tell me something about Spin City. Multiple years you were there. Something that we need to know about it, because I just, so many people just have followed your career. You've been on so many different things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sure. Let me see, what might that be? Well, in the pilot of Spin City, I had virtually nothing to do. And I had worked with Michael Boatman before. We had worked on this series called Muscle for the old WB. And they had paired us up in that show, too. We were kind of like a team. And in the pilot, I was really downhearted because there were all these big shots on set. Steven Spielberg was there. Different people were there. Everybody's getting big laughs. And I think I had 2 lines in the whole pilot. And I wasn't feeling so great about myself. And then right around Thanksgiving time, we all went, our separate ways for Thanksgiving. And I got a call from the late Gary Goldberg, who turned out to be my benefactor in many ways. But I got a phone call from him, and he said, "Alan, it's Gary. Look, just give me a call." And I was like, "Oh, man. Oh, no, I'm getting canned. I'm getting canned. They didn't know what to do with me. I'm getting canned." But what happened was Carla Gugino had been cast as Michael J. Fox's love interest. And the show had originally been sort of conceived as a Mad About You sort of thing, a romantic comedy with a workplace backdrop. But she played a reporter, so she was sort of a member of the enemy camp at City Hall, and they couldn't figure out a way to incorporate her into the action. And so they decided that she should go, and she was happy to go because she had movies to go do. She's done very well. She didn't miss out on anything. But I don't know if a lot of people know that.
No, that's awesome. Of course, I wanted to ask you about, as you look to folks you either worked with or, as you look at life, someone along the way that, believed in you and, has kind of been there by your side, whether they're still with us or not, but someone that you could say, that person I really looked up to, or that person gave me a really cool break in my career.
Well, first of all, my folks, my mom and dad are no longer here. But they backed me 100%, and I was not exactly a safe bet as an actor. I mean, I weighed 137 pounds. I had a mouthful of braces. I was auditioning for drama schools, and they just backed me 100%. And a lot of kids have to overcome not having that support from their family. So they really, I treasure them, because they really believed in me. Gary Goldberg, again, I told you he was my benefactor. I auditioned for him and for Billy Lawrence, who wrote Spin City. And I'd been doing okay. Up and down, in my career. But I was looking for something steady. And I auditioned for him and Billy Lawrence. And ABC said, "Who are you looking at for all these parts?" And they said, "Well, for Stewart, we're looking at Alan Ruck." And ABC said, "No, we know Alan. He's worked for us. He doesn't play that kind of part." And Gary just said, no, we're going to go with Alan. And he had the clout to make that happen. He was who he was. And he just stood up for me, And so I owe him a debt of gratitude.
Absolutely wonderful. So as you look at some of the things that you've done, obviously on film and on TV, a couple people were asking me as I'm saying, we're bonding about you on the air. We're going to be able to talk to Alan Ruck. People want to know, Succession, where this mansion is at. Is it a set? Are you truly in England? Where are you at? Like, this is really cool.
Which mansion? Because there's been a number of places. Which one?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll just throw out. Let's go with. Can you talk about kind of where you're at with some of the mansions? Can you kind of put us in those spots? Because there are obviously several, like you said. You're right.
there was a castle in England, and that's where the wedding took place at the end of the first season. It's called Eastnor Castle, and it's a castle. I mean, it's the real deal. And I think they pay for the place by renting it out for very luxurious weddings and for film crews and so forth. So we were there for that. My house, I think, is owned by the guy that owns Nike in New Mexico, not far from Santa Fe. And it's just all desert. I mean, it's all desert, but it's this mansion in the middle of a desert. It's stunning. Has its own chapel. I mean, we've been to some very opulent places.
Very, very
You
cool.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were out in the Hamptons. That we did something out there. We've been around.
So talk to me, Sport. We have this cool trailer running leading up to tonight's event, our virtual event. And thank you again for your time. So you're sporting this really cool beard. You're a very good looking young man. Is this a part of the COVID stuff that's going on? Or is this a part of something that you're evolving into, obviously, with Succession or another character? Just curious.
No, this is my quarantine
I
hobby.
knew it.
It's
I'm
just
so
if I don't
totally
have
with
to
it.
shave, I don't do it. So
No, it's cool. So if there's one thing in your world, obviously still a young guy that you would like to do, you've done Broadway.
you better check your facts. You
I
better
know,
check your
I
facts
know.
about
You're
that. Yeah.
you're just a little older than I. I'm that 54 years young kind of guy. You're just a little bit wiser in years, but still good looking, right? We still got it. But tell me, is there anything in your career right now that you'd like to do? Something that you would like to, I haven't tried this, or I'd like to go back to it and kind of evolve with a different character or directing or something like that. Just curious.
There's I don't want to jinx it, but there's a short play, a one-act play that I did years ago in college, and in a few years, when my little boy is old enough to basically focus and do it, I want to make this movie with me and my son Sam and my son Larkin, because it's the same person at different points in their life.
Very cool.
So
That is
I want to
awesome.
do that.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Do the children, do your sons and daughters, your family, do they have the dad bug? You're kind of talking about them, being you at two different parts of your world, your life, your years. Are they involved with that at all?
My eldest has a beautiful singing voice. Emma has a beautiful singing voice, and she went away to school to study musical theater, and then she got to New York and pretty much hated the whole thing right away. She just was like, this is not for me. So she went back to school, and now she's a nurse. And Sam doesn't seem too interested. I know if I ask him to work on something with me, he will. They all would. But we don't know about the little ones yet, but we don't know.
Yeah, we have to thank our nurses, our EMTs, our doctors, those that are on the front line, keeping us safe. Obviously, for all those folks that are out there, keep the peace flowing. If I was to ask you what would be on your iPod or your musical device right now, I'm going to throw a curve at you. What bands would we be listening to? Because I think we might have the same taste in music. I love music. It's a universal language for myself. What would you be listening to these days, Alan?
Well, the last thing I listened to was Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon.
Rock
So,
on.
yeah, I'm kind of stuck way back there. I don't know too much about what's going on now.
It's all right.
But
I'm
my
all about it.
10-year-old listens to Green Day.
Nice. I'm all about that. It's going to be nice when these bands and some of these folks get back into getting out there to be able. That's what I miss the most this summer: the live theater, the arts, the music, the concerts. I love my concerts since I've been a young guy. So, what do you like to do in your spare time? Do you jam? Are you an artist? Any other hobbies that we need to know about from Alan Ruck?
My hobbies now are being an old guy with young children. So mostly what I do is I try to keep up with them, and then I try to sleep as much as I can.
Well,
But
I think that's great. I thank you so much for your time. You've been absolutely wonderful. The next time we'd love to get you here. You were supposed to be here tonight, but you one-upped it virtually with us. I thank Tim Frankie and Doolin Media for putting this all together. And of course, your team has been phenomenal and continued success in all that you do. I know we're going to cross paths again, but thank you again for your time today, Alan. It means a lot to us.
Pleasure. I'm happy to do it. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Swanson Center, with offices in Michigan City and LaPorte, is here to meet your mental health needs, improving lives one person at a time. Call Swanson Center 219-879-4621.
All through life, we look forward to first steps, pure love, reaching our goals. We look forward to long, healthy lives. Porter Regional, LaPorte, and Stark Hospitals have joined together to help you look forward. Introducing Northwest Health. We're 3,000 caregivers in 40 locations, here to be your health partner. In hard times and good times, Northwest Health. Look forward.
Congratulations to our runner-up, Michael Harrison from New York. You did a great job. Way to go. Congratulations to Nick Hall from LA. You did a great job. And you, my friend, you're the winner.
So that completes our program tonight. I want to again thank all of you for joining us in your living room this evening as we suffer through this pandemic, and hopefully in 2021 we're back having our live events again. And I want to thank our sponsors again, because without them this wouldn't be possible, and we wouldn't be able to continue to advocate for those abused, neglected kids, our at-risk youth, and our families in our community. And I want to also thank our amazing staff, because it is definitely team. It is our staff, it is our volunteers that make this possible as well. And they do this with such great devotion to each and every volunteer and each and every child they serve.